I went quiet, not because I had nothing to say, but because my sentences never changed the weather. 20 minutes in, I was garnish. I tried. I'd rather not spend the whole visit on the past, but I do want to talk about some of it. My mother's smile stayed. Her eyes shifted. Oh, Emma, we didn't fly all this way to dig up old business. My father put his hand over mine. Let's just enjoy tonight, sweetheart. Comfort as a wall. In the parking lot, I said. Mom, do you remember the Christmas before I left? You left a plate for me on the porch. Her face flickered fear, maybe then closed. We're family. Family doesn't keep score. My father said, Diane, it's cold, and steered her away. Laura touched my arm. She means well. I understood they hadn't come to account for the porch. They'd come to bury it, to pour warm dinner over it so the story stayed smooth. They wanted the record clean, and a clean record required my silence. Monday morning, Laura was back on my floor with a clipboard and a patient experience initiative. She shadowed me on rounds, watched me tell a family honestly that their father would not wake up. Afterward, she said gently, You're so good with them. I just wonder if we could soften the delivery. Warmth scores matter to the board. My directness had held families together, but now it had a name in a report. A deficiency. The person writing it shared my mother's phone number. I felt the frame going up. My competence recategorized as a culture problem. I went into the supply closet and put my forehead against a cool metal shelf. On a Thursday, she left a plate on my desk. I came back bone-tired from a code, and there it was, a real plate, apple pie under plastic wrap, a note in her hand. Truce, I've missed you more than you know. L. I couldn't breathe. She didn't know she'd never stood on the porch. To her it was pie. To me, it was the last Christmas, the storm door locked, the foil-covered plate growing cold while I stood behind glass. A plate is what you leave for someone you don't set a place for. She'd reproduced the precise gesture that had ended my old life. I didn't eat the pie, but I washed the plate and took it home. I didn't know why. I just knew I wasn't done with it yet. The worst part that month wasn't Laura. It was Patricia. She sat next to me in the break room, patted my knee and said, Give her a chance, hun. She's your sister. Family's family. I felt a loneliness I hadn't felt in 8 years. From where Patricia sat, a warm woman adored her prickly older sister, and I was holding a grudge no one could see. I'd never told anyone about the porch. My whole survival strategy had been to arrive with no backstory, so when my family's story showed up in a nice cardigan, I had no counterstory. Laura had a narrative and an audience. I had a plate in my bag. Family's family sounds like love and works like a lock. Laura brought her daughter Lily to the hospital. Lily, 7, sat where she was put and didn't fidget. When I offered her juice, she looked up and said, Is that allowed? Am I allowed? I knew that question. I'd invented it. She was already learning that easy was the price of love, in a warm house from a loving mother. I crouched to her height. You're allowed. Juice is always allowed. You don't have to ask me for a drink of water. Not ever. Not here. She took the juice with both hands and whispered, Thank you, 3 times. Laura scooped her up. She's so easy, aren't you, baby? You're mommy's easy one. Lily beamed. That's how it starts. First you learn that easy is the price. Then one holiday they test whether you'll pay. Laura floated it in the parking garage, casual as weather. We should do Christmas together. All of us. A real reunion. Of every holiday, she reached for the one with my body under it. It would mean so much to Mom. Everything routed through Mom, never what it cost me. In the family story, the last Christmas never happened. I could feel the plan now. The visit. The plate. The softening reviews. The Christmas pitch. My parents on standby. Pieces were moving toward a table where I'd perform a healing that never occurred, so everyone else could feel healed. The hospital gala was 3 weeks out. Laura was on the planning committee, and my parents would attend as guests of the director my work event. The manager panel met that same week. Dr. Mwangi mentioned that Impressions would finalize then, and Impressions now had a department belonging to my sister, who was staging a reunion I never agreed to 40 feet from the people holding my career. I saw it clearly. Being right was never the currency. I could be the best nurse in the building, and it wouldn't matter if I refused to smile for the photograph. The photograph was the whole point, and the price had my future stapled to it. In her office, she leaned back. The board really listens to me on culture fit. It would help you if we looked united at the gala. A nice picture. People remember a nice picture. I know some of you are shouting at the screen to walk away. Hold that thought. Translated, the offer was this: perform the reunion, drop the boundary, be easy on cue, and I'll tell the board you're a culture fit. Refuse, and she couldn't promise how the Impressions would land. She smiled the whole time. In her story, she was helping her sister. That's how the golden child enforces they think they're hugging you. I tried the honest road. I asked Dr. Mwangi for coffee and laid out my case, retention numbers, mortality reviews, the new grads I'd kept. He nodded. You're the strongest clinical candidate. Full stop. Then, he set down his cup. But the committee weighs culture heavily. That's Laura's department. I've flagged that you're related. I can't make them unhear her. The clean road had a gate, and my sister held the key, and the key came with a photograph. Is there history? He asked. I said some. I didn't fill it. Not yet. My mother called 2 nights before the gala. Emma, honey, your father and I are so excited to see you shine. Just smile for one night, sweetheart, for your father. Can you do that for us? One nice night. She wasn't asking me to smile. She was asking me to sign, in a photograph that would outlast all of us, that the story was true, that the foil-covered plate on the porch was something I'd dreamed. In exchange, I'd be loved for an evening. My sister would tell the board I was warm, and I'd get the job. All it would cost was every true thing I knew about my own life. I said, I have to go, Mom, and hung up. I didn't sleep. I sat at my kitchen table with the clean pie plate catching the light. I finally saw the offer laid flat. They weren't offering me a seat. They were offering me the plate again, dressed up, with my career as garnish. A place you have to earn isn't a place. It's an audition. I'd fled Ohio thinking I'd quit the audition, but I'd just moved it. For 8 years I'd kept my apartment spotless. My needs invisible, still proving I was easy enough to deserve the room. Then, quiet as a monitor at night, a thought arrived. I could simply not show up to the audition. The gala was in the atrium, glass ceiling, borrowed chandeliers, string trio. I wore my one nice dress and walked in knowing the script. My father had on his funeral and weddings tie. His face opened so genuinely it hurt. My mother wore blue and a hostess's radiance, working the crowd. Laura found me in 90 seconds, took my elbow, steered me toward the board. Everyone, this is my sister Emma, backbone of the unit. Warm, generous, perfectly pitched. Refusing the coming photograph would now look like spite. My mother slid in, radiant. A photographer hovered. Lily stood in a velvet dress, watching. A server passed with desserts, and Laura, quick and bright, took a small plate and held it out to me. Here, you never eat. Welcome back to the family, sis, in front of the board. My parents, the photographer lifting his camera, in front of Lily. The reunited sisters, the offered plate, the smile that would run in the newsletter forever. Take the plate, smile, get the job. Be easy, be loved for one night. My mother's face was luminous. My father was misting up. Laura's arm was steady, the plate a small warm planet. I looked down at Lily, 7 years old, learning the exchange rate of love in real time. I did not raise my voice. I have held steady over a coding patient with a family screaming. I could hold steady here. I looked at my sister, looked at the plate, and did not take it. My hands stayed at my sides. "No, thank you," I said quietly. The photographer's camera came down. My mother's radiance flickered. Laura's smile stayed a beat too long. "Emma, don't do this here. Please just take the plate." My mother closed in, hissing, "Do not embarrass this family." There it was. The fear wasn't losing me. It was the picture. The story staying smooth. I kept my voice level. "I know what you're offering, Laura. The photo. Then a good word to the board. I'm not trading my life for a job. I'm withdrawing from the manager search tomorrow." Her face went white. "You'd throw it away to spite us?" I understood then. I wasn't spiting anyone. I was leaving an audition I'd been standing in since I was 12. "I'm not spiting you. I'm just not paying for it anymore." My mother's mask cracked, and I saw a frightened woman who'd spent her life keeping everyone else's story smooth, who'd left a plate on a porch because that was the arithmetic she was taught. Instead of reaching for her, I said, "You told me family doesn't keep score, Mom. You're right, I'm done keeping score. I'm keeping distance." And then, quiet enough that only we three heard, "A place you have to earn isn't a place. It's an audition. And I'm done auditioning." I set down my water glass and walked out, past the photographer, past my weeping father, into the cold air. I sat in my car and waited for the panic. It didn't come. For the first time, I was not being graded. Walking out wasn't the first brave thing I'd done. It was the first time I'd stopped performing the belonging I'd never been given and simply belonged to myself. The porch lost its power because I stopped needing it to. My hands were steady on the wheel. Somewhere above me, the gala went on. My mother would reframe the moment into a story where I was cold and she was blameless. Let her. I wasn't a room in that house anymore. If you've ever set a boundary and been called cruel simply because your family has always called it that, hit like for this story and subscribe to Tranquil Drama Stories. Now let me tell you how the pieces landed. I withdrew from the manager search and writing the next morning. The job went to a decent nurse from cardiac who didn't have to sell anything to get it. I stayed charge nurse in my EQ, on the unit I loved. Dr. Mwangi stopped me in the hall a week later. "Whatever that was, you did the right thing." It showed. A month later, he asked me to design and lead the new nurse residency for the whole hospital, my curriculum, my name on it, built around exactly the honest, unsoftened teaching my sister had tried to file down. It wasn't a consolation prize. It was the consequence of being someone who could be trusted, offered without a performance. My parents flew back to Ohio. My mother still believes I humiliated her, and she tells a story where the porch never existed. I've stopped renovating that house. But 3 weeks after the gala, an envelope arrived from Ohio in a careful child's hand. Inside, a drawing from Lily, 2 stick figures at a table, a big one and a small one, and in front of each a brown crayon plate the same size. Both at the table, no porch. On the back, Laura's handwriting. She drew this unprompted. And underneath, smaller, like it cost her, "I've been thinking about the plates. I don't know if my sister will ever leave the warm house she was raised to guard." But she'd noticed the plates. And her daughter, 7 years old, had already drawn a table where both places were set. Because one afternoon a blunt aunt told her she was allowed, that she didn't have to be easy to be loved. That's where the chain breaks, not in those taught the arithmetic, but in the ones who never learn it in the first place. I put Lily's drawing on my refrigerator next to the clean plate I'd finally understood, and I stopped waiting for the family I was born into to set me a place. Love isn't a table you earn your way back to. It's a plate someone sets for you before you even ask. A cold plate on a porch, a warm one on a desk. 8 years to learn the difference. If you've ever been told that protecting yourself is cruelty, then you already know how heavy that plate can be, and how light your hands feel the moment you finally stop holding it. This channel is for you. I'll see you at the next story.